Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me in central London today. Not that that's got any relevance to the video that I'm just about to discuss. I just need a moment of your time, if I may. In an effort to keep this channel hopefully continuing to be entertaining and engaging, I've been trying to think of other avenues to shoot videos. And we're starting and we're releasing a new playlist called How We Made It Home. Essentially, this is an interview with clients, owners, landlords who are selling a property, a unique space or a historic home or an interesting property through a unique property company. And it's a discussion with them, asking them what they've done to it, how they found it, what they love about living there and why they love living where they live, and so on and so on. And I really value your feedback as an audience, and I would love to know what you think. I would love to know if you think this is a playlist that you would be interested in watching as we go on. Don't worry, I will still be filming the point of view tours and I will still be continuing the living in listed homes with Stephen Bull. But this one I've really enjoyed making, and this series I hope will be as entertaining and engaging as I'm trying to make them. So with that, if you could drop me a comment below, I would be most grateful. But I'm going to hand over to Nik Randall in his converted 2,600 square foot Victorian school over in South East London in East Dulwich. I'll drop the link for the property in the description box below for you to have a look at it if you like the look of it or like the sound of the interview. So thanks again for your time. I'll hand over to Nik now.
Oh, hi Simon. Nice to see you again. Come in. Hi, I'm Nik Randall. I'd like to welcome you to our home in an old school in East Dulwich. I'm an architect and I live here with Suzsi Corio, who's textile designer and artist. We've been here for about 30 years in a building that was actually built in 1871 as a village school surrounded by farm fields, but now is part of the heart of East Dulwich itself. Yeah, when I designed this about 30 years ago, what we were trying to do was to actually shape it for the way we wanted to live. We've been sort of influenced by Japanese architecture for the flexibility and the storage, by Pierre Chareau's house, Maison de Verre in Paris, which also includes a workspace, and Suzsi ran her successful textile studio from here as our son was growing up. So it's been shaped for us. And it's worked incredibly well. We didn't intend to stay here really as long as we have, but we've enjoyed it so much, and the area is such a great place to live that we've stayed a long time and will be very reluctant to leave. My love of flexible living space actually extends to the bedrooms, and one of the bedrooms overlooks the main space, which is part of the joy of living here, but it could easily be separated off if people wanted that to be more private. The other large bedroom has an ensuite, so that's already more secluded. But it's a place where you could have 2 bedrooms or you could have 4 bedrooms. It's actually very easy to convert some of the other spaces into additional bedrooms for people that might have a larger family. We had one son and it suited us fine and gave us lots of extra space to have playrooms, studios, offices and so on at home in a sort of very lively family atmosphere. I think Suzsi really enjoys working on the glass mezzanine, which we'll show you shortly, which has views out onto the roof terrace, loads of light, and is a sort of separated space from the main space, so it gives you a little bit of separation, but you don't feel shut away in a sort of corner room. I think for me, probably don't have a favourite space, but the main volume is the part I enjoy the most. The scale and height of the space just feels so light and open, and is very flexible for film nights on the big screen or having parties. We've had live bands in here, and you know, in fact at Christmas we hang the tree from the ceiling, which we did initially because we were worried our new cats were going to climb up the tall tree and bring it down, so we hung it up, and that's just become a tradition here, and it hangs like a sort of massive chandelier in the central space. We tried to keep the character of the building, but not in a nostalgic way, which felt a sort of to be an insult to the original fabric. What we've tried to do is strip it back so that you can see the sort of magnificent oak beams and the stone coins that support them, the original timber floor, which we've lovingly stripped and sort of unifies the whole space. But then into that, we've inserted new elements. So you have obviously the stairs and the mezzanines, but it allows you to still read the whole volume and still read the original structure. So it's somewhere that we've enjoyed living in, but there's a flexibility and a potential in this that we would expect somebody moving in to take advantage of that. It's not something that is sort of preserved in aspic and it will always be like this. We see it as being designed to adapt to the way that people want to live. Yeah, we've got an attic space here which we had was very good for storage, but was really underused. So we've put skylights in that and a sort of ladder stair up to it, which is a great little space as either a home office or a den for children to sort of get away from their parents for a bit. It's got great views as well with the skylights. You can see right over the rooftops to Crystal Palace and into central London with the Shard and Canary Wharf and the city and so on. So in terms of the things that we did to the place, as I say, it was an empty shell. We've got some photos of what it was like pretty much when we found it, with sort of pigeons running around, pigeons flying around, and sort of very thick tar type varnish on the floor, and it actually had a suspended ceiling cutting off the main volume when we found it. We've also introduced obviously quite contemporary features. I worked for a short while in Japan and I was very interested in how Japanese houses succeed in their minimalism really because of really two things: a lot of storage, which we've got here, and flexibility. In terms of the area, I've touched on that. We've got a picture house cinema, which is about, 5-minute walk. We sometimes just decide to go there instead of switching on the TV. It's so near. We've got some great restaurants. There's a Thai restaurant within about 50 metres, a Japanese one within about 60 metres. And we really don't use our car because we're close to all the transport links. There's buses about 100 yards away that go into central London and also link to Denmark Hill and Peckham Rye and so on if you need those services. But East Dulwich station is probably about a 10-minute walk away, and that gets you into London Bridge in just over 10 minutes. Other things in the area that people might be interested in if they don't know the area are in Dulwich Village, which actually does feel like a village. It's still got that sort of character, unlike a lot of places that are branded as villages in London that don't feel like that. There's lots of little shops and cafes and restaurants there, but the Dulwich Picture Gallery, whether you decide to move to this area or this house anyway, is worth a visit. They have some fantastic small curated exhibitions on top of the sort of permanent exhibits there. There's also just up the hill the Horniman Museum, which is an offshoot of the Natural History Museum, and it actually won World Museum of the Year a couple of years back, so that's worth a visit. And from there as well, from the Horniman Garden, you get some other fantastic views, elevated views looking over London, similar to the ones that we get from the roof terrace here. I suppose the two things that I would say is that I think we're in the sweet spot for East Dulwich. East Dulwich itself is a really nice area with great facilities and shops and restaurants, as I've said. There's a market on North Cross Road every Saturday, which has fantastic sort of local artisan, homemade foods and so on. But it also has bric-a-brac and sort of cool clothes stalls and so on as well. As I say, that's only North Cross Road, which is about 50, 100 metres from where we are, but we're set back from that. So we've got all the benefits of the convenience of nipping down there on a Saturday morning to get a loaf of bread or something for breakfast, but also the quiet, the peace and quiet of being set back within the private courtyard of St Clement's Yard. There are good schools in the area, both independent and state schools. We know most of our neighbours. There's a street party most years in Archdale Road, which everybody takes part in, which is a great little event. So there's a sense of community which I think sometimes can get lost in a big city. So there's the benefits of, you know, having the South Bank and Borough Market and all the, you know, the things in central London, you know, within just over half an hour away, along with the local facilities, but also the community of living in this this particular location. We're going to be very sad to leave. That's not been an easy decision, and as Simon from Nik Properties will tell you, it's probably taken us longer than a lot of people to decide to make that plunge. But we want to have a new adventure. We've been here for, as I say, about 30 years. Our son's grown up here. He's now left home. We don't need all this space. We don't need to live in the way that we did when it was a family home and when we had a home office working from here. We need something different now, and we want to move somewhere where we can have a similar adventure and then, you know, bequeath this fantastic space to whoever follows us to live here. Well, thanks for joining me on this trip round our home. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Thank you for your time. If you want to take a look at the house and also obviously explore the local area while you're here, get in touch with Simon at Nik Properties and he can set up a private visit for you. Thank you.